everybody, welcome back to another video by nathanifantasy. So today I will be doing a kind of cosplay tag, I guess. I'm hoping this won't be too repetitive from the previous video about cosplay, which was basically just me rambling for some time about my experience with cosplaying, some good memories, bad memories, cons, etc. The basis of cosplay and what it is for me. This is a little bit different and it's a little bit more specific on some certain parts of me cosplaying. So this basically is just a cosplay tag where I have collated a load of questions, and my first question that I have here would be, what is my favorite cosplay? And I think as a quite broad answer, I'd have to say whenever I cosplay alternate characters or characters from AUs, especially from Boku no Hero, and I'll get into that in just a sec. Okay. I would have to say they're my favorite kind of things, just because you have a bit more space to experiment, make things, and do different like sort of special effects and type things like that with the character themselves. So when you have, for example, I spent quite a lot of time looking at the villain deku or villain AUs for Boku no Hero, which is a beautiful anime, by the way. I just find it quite interesting because I see so many takes. There's a lot of fan art. This isn't an official AU as far as I know. It hasn't had any official fan art. But there is a lot of like a lot of fan art. There's a lot of like fan fiction, fan theories even, or not theories, but stories that people have come up with, comics. Artists go mental for these kind of things and it's brilliant to see. There's just a whole lot of like fun stuff that surrounds sort of that, basically. So you can experiment a lot when you looking at AUs and things like that. Another AU that I absolutely love, which is again from the Boku no Hero like universe or set of AUs that have come with that. So as well as cosplaying Villain Deku, I really love to cosplay Fantasy Bakugo. The Fantasy AU is a semi-canon AU, meaning that, or by that I mean that it has come from the first half of the second series outro, where there is a lot of official art, or partly official art, set in a different timeline, a different universe, same characters, different plot. They're not at their hero school, but they're doing quests by the looks of it, and there's a lot of theories about what actually is the story behind the intro, but there it is. And this, favorite thing about cosplay is a very easy, short answer. I can turn myself into different characters. I can be whatever guy, girl, or in between I want to be, and that's brilliant to me. That's the kind of thing that I adore, being able to become a character and get in character and really, like, feel things from the character. I love being able to design things and see how accurate I can get them, even though I'm not the best at accuracy. I still enjoy being able to sort of go like, oh, I can't quite do this, so maybe I'll do it my own way and look at this way. So I like being able to become characters and make things from characters and series I love. I especially love making outfits and props and stuff from things that I'm really into. Not necessarily to cosplay them, even just for practice or just for the sake of making it. I love making things for characters and basing stuff off them. So yeah. Question 3 would be, how many cosplays do I have? I have no idea how many I have exactly, but I think about half of them are Boku no Hero. So I think I've probably got around 30 different cosplays. Some of them, this includes retired closet, etc. kind of cosplays that I've done, cosplays I don't do anymore, cosplays I once did and will never bring back again, and cosplays that I have done that I have not announced anywhere yet, and no one knows about them yet. So probably 30. Like 30 to 35 cosplays, 15 to 17 of them which have been Boku no Hero, even if they are small closet or even like the second gen Boku no Hero. Question 4 would be, what is my best Comic Con experience or best con I went to? I would have to say MCM May 2018 was so good. I spent 2 days there, and it might be the most positive overall cosplay time I've had there. Looking back, it was not all great, but it was amazing when I was there. Pretty good day, pretty good times. But another actual like experience at cons wise, I've had Hyper Japan 2019 summer, so the one that was literally like a couple weeks ago, was amazing. I got to meet one of my like absolute cosplay idols. Like, I love them so much, and I got to meet them and talk to them, and I brought merch off them, and they were brilliant. And it was the best, just like the best like experience I've had at a con. Wasn't the best con overall, just because Hyper Japan is a little more quieter, and I didn't like feel sort of as proud of my cosplays that I've made as I maybe would have liked to, but I still did it. I still went, and I had a good time. I met a lot of people I've been meaning to meet for a while. My question 5 is, what's my goal cosplay? So like my biggest up there cosplay. One of them has got to be Ralph from Detroit Become Human. I'm a big fan of Detroit, as you can see. I have my Kara hoodie on at the moment. And I think that, yeah. Kara was a gold cosplay, but I have done her. She has been ticked off my list. I plan on cosplaying her again quite soon and maybe doing a video on her outfit, all the different aspects of it, and how I took her to a con, but that's probably another thing for another day. My least favourite cosplay thing, the long days at cons and shoes. The amount of times I have gone to cons and messed my feet up from wearing shoes that look better for a character than they are for my body. I've left two of my toes permanently bruised from a con that I went to almost 2 years ago because I wore some platforms that were 2 sizes too small for me and very narrow. Although the cosplay photos turned out pretty well, but I don't share them because my makeup and everything else about the cosplay was amateur. It wasn't fun going home. My feet ended up sliding inwards, and I very badly hurt my ankles for the next couple of weeks. I couldn't walk properly. It was a good con nonetheless. I met some brilliant people there, but it was not the best thing, not the best decision I've ever made in my life, I've got to say. And as for the long days of conventions, especially if you're doing a con such as Hyper Japan, which literally runs from 9 if you do both sessions up until 9. That's a 12-hour day, which does not include traveling there and back. Especially if I have a hotel nearby. It's a very, very long day. And even if you do something like MCM May, I know in October I did 3 days of cosplay. So that was, got there for priority early Friday, and then did Saturday and Sunday as well. I stayed for a while. It was a very, very long weekend. So I think the long days can get a bit tiring. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore going to cons. I love meeting people, I love seeing people there, but the days can be a little bit long and tired, and the crowds can sometimes be a little bit too much for someone who's anxious or small like me, especially when you have a heavy or big cosplay on. But, you know, it's kind of what I sign up for when I go to cons. I expect it's going to be like that, and I kind of compensate for it a little bit, but that's just how it be sometimes. How often do I cosplay? Ooh, it varies. If it's building up to a con, I'll only cosplay maybe twice a week, and then for the con, because I've got to give the skin a rest, and sometimes cosplay can be a little bit draining if you do multiple in one day. So you just kind of I have to be careful of not to wear myself down, because I do other things despite cosplay. Despite cosplay? Other than cosplay, despite mostly focusing a lot on it. I'd say on an average week that hasn't been around or near, like right before, right after a con, maybe 5 times a week, but I have definitely done it up towards 10 times a week, which was a little bit exhausting. Gotta get that sweet content without burning myself out, so I've got to space it over a long time, which I'm bad at. I'm very bad at, like, getting content and keeping content and spacing things out properly, but I try. This is why do I cosplay? So I cosplay mostly because a lot of my friends do it, and I find it very, 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 like, I don't know, like, more inviting to cosplay something with people, or to do anything with people. I'm, like, I've said before, I'm extroverted. No, I've said before that I'm introverted, but I think it's much better for me and my interest and how quickly I get distracted from things if I do an activity with other people, or I know other people who do it. For example, I have cosplay friends, and we'll often discuss, like, oh, should we do these people to a con? Should we do these people to a con? And it kind of picks up my engagement within it a little bit better. So if I have the enticement of other people doing the same thing as me, I'm much more likely to want to do something. Kind of just works like that. I think that's probably why I cosplay, for the people. Number 9 would be my most cheap or my most expensive cosplay. My cheapest cosplays would be, or my actual cheapest cosplay, not including the entire total of stuff I had to buy for, because I'm currently working on cosplaying Aluka, who is from Hunter x Hunter, and she wears like a kimono kind of thing, I think that's what they're called, and the only thing I actually end up having to buy for that were the boots, the skirt, and her wig for it, because we happened to have old bed sheets and cloths that were just in a cupboard that were the right pinks and the right yellows for the things I needed to make her outfit, so I didn't actually have to spend loads of money on her. I already had a black wig as well that I kind of used for a test, but I'm going to have to buy a better quality wig, just because there's quite a lot of styling in the front of it that I don't want to look too thin. But anyway, but if I had to buy all that fabric, it would have worked out a lot more expensive, so I don't know. She's debatably cheap. Another cheap one that's actually cheap would probably be my Chloe Price cosplay, although I don't do her as much as I currently do. No, what? Although I don't cosplay her as much as I used to. I used to cosplay her a lot around February, because that was when I first got her. I got all her stuff together, but cheap wig, clothes that I used to wear anyway, leather jacket, already had it, and it's all like fake leather as well, and boots, which I'd already have because I have to wear shoes when I go out. I kind of already had most of the outfit. We had to get the t-shirt custom made, which didn't actually cost that much because we just designed it, printed it off ourselves, ironed it on, and that's just how, like, that's kind of just how, like, the whole, like, she came about very easily, especially as I got given the cosplay as a gift from someone around my birthday, so that was very nice, and it worked out well. It worked out really well. Worked out very well. So my most expensive cosplay, purely by coincidence, is Ponzu, which sounds very weird because she is a hat, simple pink jumper, and yellow joggers, and then kind of just wearing whatever shoes I want to with that. The only reason she was so expensive is because I was in a designer shop having a sale, and luckily I had a gift card, and so her hoodie, jumpery jacket kind of thing, is supposed to be very, very expensive, but is actually something that only cost me about £5 because I was lucky about the gift cards and vouchers I had. It all just happened to work out well because I spent ages looking for something that wasn't hugely expensive online and didn't look too off character. But I was just lucky with that one. I think if I hadn't got that, the whole cosplay would have cost me well over £150. It's a good quality wig. The hat took a few tries to make, even though it's still not quite perfect, despite me taking to a con once before and doing a couple of shoots with her. But she's a favourite cosplay as well. She has a special place in my heart as well. She was one of my first cosplays that I entirely did by myself as well, without any help from other cosplayers or like other people who help me make stuff sometimes. Another expensive one would have been the any Bug and a Hero character I do with the school uniform, because the school uniform can be quite expensive to get in a highish quality, especially the fact that I have dodgy proportions and I have to get everything custom made or custom make it myself, which I normally can't be bothered to do. If I do it, I don't do it right. So question 10 would be making cosplays. I love making cosplays. I've made the entire set of Voltron armor, which I don't wear greatly because it's fragile and I'm honestly scared I'm going to break it before I get a chance to do a proper shoot with it. I've made, the Keith's uniform, like, armor for Voltron. I made the entire thing out of craft foam, which is very hard to get on and off. I didn't do it in the most efficient way, but I tried. It was one of the first things that I made from scratch. I've said previously that I made the kimono for Luca. I put a little bit of work into making Kara's stuff. I especially enjoyed making Fantasy Bakugo. I made all the, like, the beads, the necklaces, the bits he's got on his arms, the little bits of armor he has. I made it, basically, I did quite like making that one. Everything but the jeans and the boots were modified or made in some way. And the whole, like, being able to, like, step back and look at it all when it's either on or when you've got it all laid out after you finish making it, and you look at it and you think, I frickin' made that. And it's good. And I think it's just, like, a brilliant feeling. It's this whole, like, wow, I actually did that and I didn't do it awfully. That's cool. It's a nice feeling to have. It's a good feeling to have. So for the last and 11th question, I have a question, not a question. I have a statement that just says photoshoots / getting photos. I said previously I get into cosplay up towards 10 times, normally like 5 to 10 times a week. And when I do that, it's normally just the quick little selfie, get my phone out, take a selfie, do the poses for a cosplay, and that's normally about it. But occasionally I am lucky enough to find someone who will take photos of me in cosplay, whether it's just out in my garden, or if it's at a convention, or we go out to London and get weird looks because there's no one else in cosplay, and I think that's probably the worst case one. You just go out to London, you go up to, like, the countryside or, like, wherever, and you get photos done in cosplay. That's pretty fun too. And I do enjoy like, doing shoots. I've got used to the whole, like, people give you weird looks when you're in public because you're in cosplay, because I've just done it a lot of times. As I've said before, I've been cosplaying quite a while, and yeah, there are worse, like, things than people giving you weird looks, and people don't normally say anything to you. But I think on the average I prefer getting photos just in the safety of my own home, or, like, in my own garden if I want to go, if I really want to let myself go. But yeah, I definitely, I enjoy it. It's fun. Yee. So thank you for listening to this little cosplay tag. I will be posting the questions and statements that I had listed down here, down below, so that if anyone else wants to do it or wants to see what kind of questions I actually ask, because I don't know if I made it entirely clear, then I will put them down there where you can read them or look at them. I will have links to other things, social media, etc., down there as well. And thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye!